You guys are doing wonderfully. This is an intense course. Again, this is new for me as well. And there's a lot of work and a lot of material to get through each week and a lot of writing to do each week. But you are doing wonderfully, so congratulations. I just got back from a week away and I have found some emails from you guys. If you didn't send them through Moodle, I got them here in my email, so I will get back to those this morning. It's Tuesday morning. But the other thing I wanted to do was talk a little bit about identity, because we haven't really looked at that yet, and how food is connected with identity. You have a small piece there that I wrote a few years back when I was working at a boarding school, and you'll see the connections with food there. And I don't write that to say that I'm an incredible writer, but it really ties in with this course. So in that way, it's informative. We're looking at identity. First, we have to understand some things about it. And one, that we're not born with it. It's constructed. It's something that we build. And that creation is always in process. So if you think of it, our identity is constantly changing. And you could say to me, no, it's not. But I would say, what if something happened tomorrow? What if something happened to you? Either you won the lottery or someone close to you passed. That event would actually change who you are. Looking back on this weekend with that plane crash, for the people who were there or the people who responded, that will now become a piece of their identity in terms of what they experienced or what they saw. And it's relational in that we are forming this identity, creating who we are within specific social, political, religious contexts. So who I became in terms of my own life is probably very much due to the fact that my parents raised me in New England. So I was raised in a place that was very liberal, that was very Catholic, actually, if you look down at Massachusetts. And so you had a lot of those supports in place. Basically, what I was learning was being reinforced by the context that I was in. If you were to flip that and say maybe I was raised down south or out west, there may be some pieces of me that might be a little different now. When we look at food then, we're trying to look at how food becomes a piece of this process. And I'm not going to read this quote. I'll ask you to maybe pause this and read it. But I found it in another article, and I said, wow, that really nails it. And I'm not someone who uses long quotes in PowerPoints, but this I thought was pretty good. It really becomes a piece of the identity process, one that acts as a marker, one that marks as a creator, and one that really helps to shape who we are or reinforce who we are. And that's why food is so amazing. When you think of identity, though, we can also align with the pieces that we are. So this is just an example, this isn't me, but I am Christian, I am American, I am these things, I speak like this. So I'm not only aligning with the things I do, but I'm aligning with the other people who do those things. And what's interesting is you can actually identify against. I am not a Red Sox fan. I am not Muslim. So not only am I American, but I am not Canadian. And you say, well, how does this relate to food? If you think about it, I'm an example of that. I am vegetarian. I don't go around telling people I eat vegetables. I actually explain it to people by saying I do not eat meat. And in some ways, that's kind of a weak thing. It's a negative assertion. I'm not telling them what I do. I'm telling them what I do not do. We've actually, in the vegan community, if you can, and there is a vegan community, where there's a term called whole foods plant-based. So it's a kind of a more positive assertion, because the only other way vegan has ever been defined is don't eat animal products. And if you think about it, you need that not in order to explain to people what you do. And so many pieces of our food identity are both defined by what we do eat and then what we don't eat. And when you travel, you will see people eating things and you will say, I do not eat that, or I will eat that. And it's almost a gut reaction. I am not like those people because I will not eat squid. I will not eat seafood. That is not food to me. And this is identity against as much as it is identity of self.